Hey everyone, Elliot here. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be cooking for y'all, and myself, but along with going to the gym a lot, I also like to eat pretty healthy, and by healthy I mean just low to no carbs. I found that that's like the best way to really cut and look good. Other people have different methods, but like I said, I really enjoy that low carb lifestyle. Today I'm going to be making cauliflower pizza crust, so cauliflower pizza essentially. I've never made it before, but I've watched a lot of tutorials and videos on how to do so, so I'm hoping that it comes out okay. I'm going to be using the recipe of a man by the name of Chef Buck, I believe. I will put a link down to his channel in the comment section if you'd like to take a look at his recipe. From what I saw, it came out really good. He used veggies for his toppings. I'm going to be using some Canadian bacon and some spinach for mine, but like I said, this is my first time making this, so hopefully it comes out okay. Yeah, here we go. Okay guys, so first up I've got all my ingredients over here to the side. So I have some cauliflower that I bought just at Walmart. And then I have some spinach that I've had in my fridge for a while, some mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese, like I said, Canadian bacon for my topping, some eggs to kind of condense the crust together, and then some tomato sauce for the pizza crust. So let's get started. Okay, so first up guys, what I've done is just taken some cauliflower heads and cut the stems off. I have about like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different cauliflower heads. So now I'm just gonna throw these in a food processor and grind them up, and then throw the processed cauliflower in a heating pan. So what this is gonna do is going to just sort of condense the cauliflower. Cauliflower has a lot of water in it, just like initially. So by putting it in the frying pan, it's gonna cook out all that water and make it really, I guess, toasty, so that it's more sticky for pizza crust. Okay guys, so once you've processed your cauliflower, it should look something like this. If you're like me, the smell of cauliflower isn't the best, but and when you process it, it's really gonna like start to give off that cauliflower smell. But like I said, it should look somewhat like this, kind of like Parmesan cheese almost. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure out about 2 cups, 2.5 cups, and then like I said, throw it in the frying pan so that the water can evaporate off of it. Okay, so like I said guys, now I have my cauliflower in a saucepan. Don't worry about adding any like oil or like cooking spray at all. The water in the cauliflower is going to serve as the oil essentially. You don't want to cook it for too long. You don't want it to like dark up, because you want the cauliflower to remain sort of like, still have its consistency. In the meantime, while this is cooking, I'm going to throw an egg in a bowl, and then I'll just prepare to mix my cauliflower in. Okay guys, so what I've done is I've taken one just egg and beat it in the bowl. Now I'm going to add, sorry that sounded weird. I'm going to add about 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. So the reason, from what I understand, for adding, which makes sense, for adding Parmesan cheese is because it helps with that thickness. So like I said, cauliflower is just kind of naturally, I guess, kind of thin in its consistency. That's why we want to boil out the water to make it just a little bit more thick, so that the pizza crust really holds. So the egg and the Parmesan cheese is going to serve as sort of like a glue for the cauliflower. So right now I'm measuring out, like I said, about 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. In the video that I watched, the dude used like hard Parmesan cheese and grated it. I just bought the already grated Parmesan cheese. You can find it at any grocery store. It's not the like the fine grade Parmesan cheese, but the sort of like the sliced Parmesan cheese. So I'm just gonna add this to my egg and just whisk it in. And again, I've never made this before, but I've watched a lot of videos on how to do so and read a lot of recipes. So my goal is that my background knowledge from watching those videos and reading those recipes, that the outcome is gonna be okay. Knock on wood, right? Okay, so I've added my Parmesan cheese to the egg and mixed it in. It kind of just looks like puke right now, but I'm gonna grab my cauliflower that's been cooking on the stove, add that in, and then we'll get it going. Okay, guys, so I have my my cooked cauliflower here. As you can see, mine is kind of brown. See if I can get that closer to the camera. You don't really want that. I kind of let it cook too long. I think it should be okay, but like I said, you want to avoid, from what I understand, getting it too brown, because then it becomes too, I guess, sort of crisp to get that dough-like feeling. So I'm just gonna add my cooked cauliflower to my egg and Parmesan cheese mixture, like so. Alrighty, guys, so I have my mix of cauliflower, Parmesan cheese, and my one egg. Again, it doesn't look too appetizing at the moment, but once I put it on the baking sheet, I think it'll start to take the pizza crust form. So for my crust, I don't have a pizza pan. It's something that I've always wanted to get, but I just haven't yet. So I'm just using a regular like cake baking sheet. From what I understand, usually when I bake, I like to use like cooking spray or oil. From what I understand from the videos that I've seen and the tutorials that I've watched, parchment paper works best for cauliflower pizza crust because it's easier to remove the crust off of, as opposed to like cooking spray. If it doesn't get covered all the way or covered completely, then some parts will stick, and that's no bueno. So I'm going to put the mixture on the parchment paper. I'm gonna do like I guess a square pizza, and then throw it in the oven. I've preheated my oven for 400 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna let the cauliflower crust cook for about 20-25 minutes, just until you can see the like the goldenness start to come up. But yeah, I'll show you guys once I've formed my crust. Alright guys, so I have formed my pizza crust as so. Again, I don't have a round pan, so I had to use just a rectangular cake baking pan, which works just as fine, I'm assuming. As you can see, I line my pan with parchment paper. You probably want to do it a little better than I did, because I was just sloppy about it and it's all like, it's not really even, but YOLO. But like I said, I morphed my cauliflower into like a rectangle shape. One thing to keep in mind is that your cauliflower pizza, you know, I used about 2 cups of cauliflower. It's not going to be super big. So if you're looking to make like a family-sized pizza with this, you're probably going to want to use more cauliflower and sort of, just double your recipe, or even triple your recipe. But you know, for me, it's just this is good enough. It's, you know, about 4 separate slices, so that's fine for me. Another thing to keep in mind is that, from what I understand, when you bake the cauliflower pizza, you want to make sure that the edges are a little bit more elevated than the center of your crust. So by that I mean just, you know, the perimeter of your pizza crust, you want to make sure that it's a little raised. Let's see if I can get a good picture. See how like the edges are a little bit raised. That is because when the cauliflower pizza cooks, you want the center to be just as cooked as the edges. If the edges are too thin, then the edges will burn. So just make sure, what I did, I just went around with my fingers and just sort of like patted the whole entire perimeter until, the whole pizza, the whole perimeter of the pizza was just a little bit more elevated than the center. So like I said, I'm gonna throw this in the oven now for about 20-25 minutes on 400 degree heat. Once it's ready, I will check back in and we'll add our pizza toppings. Okie dokie, y'all. So the pizza crust is done. I pulled it out of the oven. Again, I let it cook for about 20 minutes. As you can see, the crust is nice and golden, not too dark, but not too undercooked. So we're gonna let this cool off for about another 10-15 minutes. Just make sure that it's cool enough to put some stuff on it. In the meantime, while it cools off, I'm going to make a pizza sauce to go on it. Okay guys, so like I said, I'm going to make a pizza sauce now for my cauliflower pizza crust. If you don't like to make pizza sauce, then you can just use regular tomato sauce or just buy it in the store. For my pizza sauce, I'm going to be using just regular tomato sauce from the can. I also pulled out some parsley flakes, some oregano, and some pepper. I also have here some garlic salt, and I think that's it. I thought I had basil, but I don't. So I'm gonna put about probably a teaspoon of each in the sauce. Maybe not a teaspoon of each, but I'm just gonna eyeball it. That's a great thing about cooking, right? You can just eyeball everything. So like I said, I'm just gonna mix it all together, and then as that cools off, we'll get ready for to put it all together. Alrighty, so my crust is pretty cooled down now. As you can see, the parchment paper really helps because it just comes right off the baking sheet. So again, I would suggest, I've never tried it any other way. This is my first time trying it, but the parchment paper was really, really easy for me to just take my spatula and lift it up. And now, as you can see, it's just sort of, it feels very bread-like. Again, I've eaten cauliflower like stuff, like other products before. It's substituted for a lot of bread products, but I've never done cauliflower pizza crust. And from what I can tell, it's the consistency is very similar to bread. I don't think, a lot of the times people, at least myself, when we're doing low carb stuff, we worry about the consistency being the same, just because if the consistency is off, then it just throws the whole entire experience off. So the same can be said for like zucchini when you're using it as like a pasta substitute, or squash for that matter. It's really, really important, like I said, just to get the consistency right, because if you don't, then it's gonna be a weird feeling. So with that, we'll go ahead and put the cauliflower crust back on the baking sheet onto our parchment paper. I'm gonna take my tomato sauce, or my pizza sauce that I made, tomato sauce with seasoning, pizza sauce that I just made, and we're going to put it on the cauliflower crust. So, as you can see, I'll slide over. As you can see, I just layered my pizza sauce on top. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some of my toppings and some cheese, and then we'll throw it back in the oven, and we're almost there. All right, guys, so I added all my toppings. I'm not gonna tilt it too far down because it'll fall over and that'll be bad. But what I did was I added a layer of spinach first, and then I put some mozzarella cheese. You can use whatever cheese you want. I use mozzarella cheese because I like it the most. And then I added, just another layer of Canadian bacon. So that's just a store-bought Canadian bacon that you can find in like your packaged meat section at your grocery store. And then I just covered it with another layer of mozzarella cheese to really, so that when it bakes, it really, holds together. Again, this pizza is not going to be too big. So if you're expecting, to use a lot of toppings, probably don't, unless you're gonna, like I said, double or triple that recipe. So I kept it to just like 2 toppings, just for the sake of size. But if you're making a bigger pizza, feel free to add on as many toppings as you like. So we're gonna put this back in the oven, 400 degrees for another like 15 minutes, and then it'll be ready to eat. Okie dokie, guys. So she looks about ready to pull out. I'm gonna pull her out. I only let it cook for about 10 minutes. 15 minutes wasn't necessary. As you can see, the cheese is already melted. Everything looks pretty meshed together. So, like I said, 10 minutes was more than enough time to really let the cauliflower pizza cook. So now I'm just gonna let it cool down, and then we'll cut her up and call it a day. Okay, guys, so as you can see, my cauliflower pizza is pretty much cooled off. So now I'm just going to cut it into, I think I'm gonna do like 4 segments. That way I have 4 pieces. So we're just gonna cut it down the middle. Get back in there, bacon. Then we're gonna go probably just this way. All right, guys, so I went ahead and served a couple slices of my cauliflower pizza on a plate. So let's taste it and see how it is. Yeah. This is really good. Wow. That's like, it's really good, but also it's really weird because the consistency is pretty similar to just regular pizza crust. Yeah. Wow. Like if someone were to tell me like that they just made this and not tell me that it was cauliflower, I would definitely believe them. That's how similar the consistency is. I guess it is like a little softer. It does feel a little bit different like when you're holding it actually. But I mean, I've had plenty of pizzas where the crust is just thinner. Like, I mean, thin crust pizzas is essentially the same. So like I said, if someone would just tell me that this was just regular pizza, like a thin crust pizza, I would totally believe them. So like I said, not only do I like to work out, but I love to cook as well. I love to eat healthy when I can. So just be expecting some more cooking tutorials on the kind of stuff that I eat, on a daily basis. Like I said, low carb is the way that I like to go. I know that doesn't work for a lot of people, just because carbs are so essential to a lot of people. But I, have found the most benefits from a low carb diet. It really helps me keep my cut, keeps my physique in shape, especially during the summer. So, like I said, not only is it really important to work out, guys, but it's also really important to just eat, to eat good, just in general. So, if you like this video, please make sure to thumbs up, subscribe if you like the content on my channel. I will include the link to Chef Buck's video on cauliflower, which I use to help me make my cauliflower pizza, in the comment section below, so make sure you check that out. Again, if you like my content, if you like what you see, please make sure to thumbs up and subscribe. Other than that, peace and love. Peace and love and cauliflower.